Hello, everybody. Get myself situated a little bit better. Got these weird lines from the curtain from this year. Oh well. I got lines on my face. There's no really escaping them. One of these days I will have, I don't know if I want a whole studio, but one of these days I will have a setup that I feel good about, that I can just sit down and get started and know the lights are going to be good. I'm not going to have anything weird on my face. But for now, it is just messy. And I think that is, I think that's what we're being called to be right now, is a little bit messy. So as we wait for people to get on, I want to first thank, I got a couple of emails. Yesterday I was saying how technology is getting more and more difficult for me to be on, social media and um, like just all of it. And it's been a couple days since I really went into my email, but today I got up the courage and I went in, and I was actually so pleasantly surprised, because I got a couple of emails from some of you. And Carly, I don't know if you're on yet, but I loved your email about, the email that you sent. And I responded, and Carly gave me some beautiful little nuggets that came in for her about some things that I've been talking about on the daily tune in. And then Michelle, I don't know if you're on yet, but she sent some beautiful pictures of the sun, and I love it. I've been getting I've been getting pictures from a few of you through social media, and also through email. And I love that like we're seeing the sun change. It sounds so crazy to say and hear my voice say it, but the sun, it looks different. It feels like more potent in my face. And then, when we take pictures of it, and when we see it like in different ways, what is that back there? You see that movement back there? I don't even know what that is. It was distracting me, and I don't know really what that was. I don't know if y'all saw it or not. I don't think it was anything like, angelic. I just was like, what was that? Um, but yeah, just seeing the beautiful rainbow halos that are around it, seeing these beautiful things. Do you guys see that? I can't. Somebody look at that and tell me what it is. There's nothing back there that I can make out, but I keep catching like movement over there. But every time I look, it's like all the things that we see. Okay, sorry, I'm completely rambling. Hello, welcome, Jessica, Carol. Good morning, Christine. Hello from not from Colorado, but in Colorado. Good morning, shining souls. It's real as you are, and we love that. Yes, Brenna. Good morning. Hello, everyone. Okay, let's go ahead and jump in. And it's so funny. I swear I'm so uncomfortable with these daily tune-ins, because um I don't know, the energies of it, like, and I feel like the energies, but like it's all we call them, right? The energies have been so not weird, but just very different in the past week or so, to the point where I haven't really been getting up at the 3 a.m. mark. Like I mean, I was devoted to that. It was always not devoted, like I set my alarm, but like it was just happening. I was constantly waking up at that time. And in this past week, it has been like really like hard sleeping. And Bud has mentioned too that he's been like, man, like I slept hard last night. And that's been the past few nights. Last night, the dogs, I was out here on the couch all night with the dogs, because Priya had like some major diarrhea, and the other dog also eventually had it. And it's not some like weird illness or anything. These energies, because they eat pretty healthy, and Pepe, who is the street dog that has adopted us, he's been around long enough, for a couple of weeks though, that he's really healthy. So I know it's not something weird, but it like these energies are like, we've talked about the animals too, but they're moving through it as well in their own way. So I was up and down, in condo living, like It's fun, but it's not forever for us at all. But the last night going up and down, you know, the stairs, and Pepe won't get in the elevator, so I have to take the stairs like 3 or 4 times at night. I was like so frustrated, and at the same time, I felt so bad because like my two babies were not feeling well, and I could hear their stomachs grumbling at, you know, when we were trying to sleep, and then like it would just get really bad. I'm like, okay, it's time to go. So everything is working these energies through, and they are really potent and they are really intense. So if you're having a hard time, or not even a hard time, but if you're feeling just drained and exhausted, there is so much going in to your, you know, into the integration of these energies outside of the, you know, the normal energy that you're giving into your day with all of your daily routines. Your body is doing so much work to integrate these energies as well. So I mean, like I've been passing out like at 8:30. I swear every time I get on here I get something in my eye at, you know, at 8:30 at night. Like it's so pathetic. I feel so bad because I'm like, honey, I'm not a very good fun partner, because like I literally fall asleep. And it's not like, you know, we have tough days. You know, the days we are luckily we are sorry, I'm rambling. I'm gonna stop it because I'm just like blah, blah, blah. Today's message is about, oh, that's what I was getting at. So I'm really uncomfortable because I haven't been doing my 3 a.m. thing. When I get up, I'm like, what is the message? And it's like it doesn't come to me until minutes before I get on here. And so right now I'm kind of working through it as well as we do this. So I don't know what that's about, because I've always been really prepared with what is this about, and during our day I tune into it, and like it all just seems, and it is like that radio silence. We talked about that a couple weeks ago, and I think it's the same thing. It's just it's like the message that I'm getting is that we are in this, and there's no new real information for us, because we know what we're doing. We just have to ride this out. And what came earlier today, just I mean literally just earlier, was the velocity in which we are ascending is picking up, and it's getting faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, which is why we're like, you know, we're kind of like, and we know what's going on. So we can ride the energies. We can tune into them. We can be aware of them. We know how to you know, to care for ourselves. We know how to care for our families. And at the same time, as all of this is taking place, we can look around the world, we can look around our lives and see all of these changes taking place, and at the same time receiving new awareness of changes that we have to make in our life. And so like we are at least aware of this process, but there is so much coming at us for us to integrate and process. And so at the end of the day, there's no sorry, Bud was talking back. There's no surprise that we are just like we're just exhausted. So that 3D world that is still kind of working itself out, right? Many of these people are not aware, not even close to being aware of this process that we're in. They are just aware of what's happening in the world. And what we're seeing in the world is the darkness is self-destructing. The darkness is self-destructing like by its own, well, self-destructing is by its own fuel, so to speak. So we see a lot of the narratives that we have been following. We see a lot of the narratives that are self-destructing, and like the companies or the doers of these crimes against humanity, their own work is coming back and giving us the evidence of, you know, what we have kind of known, what we have felt. So the self-destruction is happening on a global scale, narratives are falling down quickly. Everything, about this, the beautiful thing about social media is we didn't have social media during the last world war, right? But now we've got this war going on. I mean, and it's not just, I mean, it's a global war. And now we have social media. Now we have people who are critically thinking. Now we have people who are critically thinking sharing that. And I love you, like many of you will send me messages, and many of you have like helped me kind of go down the rabbit hole even more, because you'll send me something else. I'll be like, ooh, what is that? And then I'll see something else and go down that rabbit hole. And I'm piecing all of this stuff together. And now it's starting to make sense. And as it makes sense, I'm seeing like how big and deep this darkness and this manipulation was, which then tells me if it's that deep and dark on a global scale, it's that deep and dark on an individual scale in the collective. So here is what we are having to do now in this velocity, as the velocity and the energies rise, and we are just like going, and we are like in that elevator. We've hit the button to ascension, and we are in it. And as we reach a floor, we kind of throw out like any, at this point for us, I believe it's getting easier. We understand this process now. So to me, it feels easier, although there are the days where I'm like, oh, here we go again, and I had some it wasn't anxiety, but I felt this gnawing in the inside. It just felt this morning, and it felt as we were walking. It felt kind of like anxiety, but like as I tuned into it, I was like, whoa, it feels so distant. So, what I knew that to be was that was collective again, because I was like, okay, what is this in my life that I'm feeling? And I could make a logical connection with what this gnawing might be about, having to do with my kids. Like it usually is, like whenever my heart drops, I'm like, oh, it always has to do with like just wanting my kids here with me, and with us in this life, building this life. And it's not like I want them with me to control. It's more like I want to invite them, and I want to create this 5D reality. I want to create this new evolution of life and lifestyle with the input of my kids. I want them to choose where we end up having a homestead. I want them to be part of the choice of getting to know Pepe and like building this relationship with this new street dog that has adopted us. Like, I love the story that's unfolding with this dog, because it's not anything that has ever happened to us. I've always been like, I'm ready for a dog. I'm going to go adopt a dog. And I was not ready for a dog. And this dog decided to adopt us. And like, like he's working so hard. Like I just think it's so obvious what he's doing. He's really, really working hard to earn his spot in this family. And it's beautiful and it's so sweet. And I would love for my kids to be seeing it. So there's something magical happening. Bud and I are building this, for now, this is our home and we're building it out. This is not our forever home yet, but I want, when that time comes for us to find that forever home, I would love for our kids. So my heart sometimes feels heavy. And as I was walking today, I was like, okay, it feels a little heavy, but at the same time, it felt so distant from who I am at this moment. And I was like, whoa, what is that? It's like really cool. And here's what I got. Here's what the message is, as these worlds split apart. We've got that old world, 3D paradigm kind of stuff, and then we've got the higher realities of life that are expanding, that are unfolding, that we're stepping into. And those lower emotions of anxiety and overwhelm, and that feeling that I was feeling, I think it was mostly a collective feeling, because it felt big, but still it wasn't affecting me. There was no trigger in it at all, which is what I was so pleasantly surprised by. It was there, but it wasn't what didn't grab me. And the message is like that, we're leaving that world behind. So this world isn't going to be without little lower frequencies. They're just not going to grab us like we used to, or they used to. It's going to be, they come up and we're like, oh, what's this about? I'll take care of that. I'll change that, or I'll let that go. And then we just kind of sail right through it. This is the practice phase of us doing that. And the more that we answer the call to the changes that we're being called to change, which we talked about yesterday, the more that we remove those parts of our 3D life that are greatly tethering us to those lower realms of existence. And what's happening is those, like, it's self-destructing, the darkness, right? The darkness within you and me is self-destructing. And as it self-destructs, like, it's just going to happen whether you choose to change. That's the big thing. You either can say, get the message, this needs to be changed, and start that process. Otherwise, the life with the velocity of what we're doing, you're just, life's going to take care of it. And what in my experience, when I have ignored something or let something go and been like, oh, I'm too afraid to change that, I'm too afraid to have that conversation, and life came in like a 2x4 and like walloped me and everything up upside my head. And it was worse than if I was just like, this needs to change. Can we change this? Can we change this relationship? Can we change this job? Can we change this frustration? Can we change the way in which we run our home so it's not so chaotic, or whatever the thing is, right? When you choose it, the velocity goes up much faster. When you ignore it, like what we see in our global, like, it's so fascinating for me to watch. I don't watch the news, but I watch what's going on from a distance, because it tells me what's happening in individuals. It tells me what's happening in the collective. And as we watch these narratives, and the globalists start their story, everything is self-destructing. It's falling in on top of each other, and they're trying so hard to hide it, so hard to mislead and to make you look over here. And they're like, squirrel, war, squirrel, there's going to be something else. It's going to be Russia's now. Whatever. I don't want to make any predictions, but I have a pretty strong prediction that we're going to see, all of a sudden Russia's now the fear about the biolabs that are going on in Ukraine. When, like, they're the US's, and that's where, like, a lot of stuff came out from, and a lot of stuff from these last 2 years were actually, I think we're going to see more and more evidence that it was actually US led. And that is going to create a lot of self destructive energies from that. When that truth comes out, whatever that truth is, the big truth comes out, and these narratives start to self destruct, and they start to fall. Many people are going to go into full on self destruction. They're already starting that. We can see it. We can look at family members, we can look at people that we know. And this is when we have got to just pull out and let go and let this unfold. This velocity that we are in, it's just going to ramp up like daily and daily and daily. And when we just keep in that mindset, we keep in, remember this is the in the anatomy of a dimensional reality. We stay in our reality of the 5D reality, above the fold here, above the place of courage, right? This is where life expands. This is the life expansive energies. We have got to stay here when the destruction is going on, because every time, in one moment, if we are in, what's that, courage, and then we fall down the next moment into fear because we're watching maybe family members still self-destruct. And what I mean by that is, like, their life starts to collapse around them, because like we said, if they're not choosing to change what needs to be changed, or they're not choosing to see what is so freaking obvious at this point, at that, like, life is going to show it to them. Life is going to show it to them in a really painful way. And if we get in there and start to mop up someone else's blindness, someone else's darkness, then we fall down here, and that's not holding the line. This is when holding the line becomes our strength. It becomes a fierce choice to stay in the higher dimensions, into staying in the observer mode and just watching it. And we can be there for them as much as we can. We can listen, but it is not ours to dive down into this world because that is what they want. They want us to become constantly in fear of the next world war, of Russia, of the next, you know, illness, that virus that's going to go around. They want us to be in fear of, nuclear war. They want us to be in fear of all the things. And we went by our friend's bar on our walk, or the restaurant and bar, and had the news on, and Bud and I were just like sitting there. We don't like watch the news, and we were sitting there just reading the ticker tape and stuff, and like we were both laughing. I was like, oh my god, that they're still doing this. Like everything that we saw was like, it made us laugh, but like not in like ha ha ha. It was just like, oh my god, this is so sad that there are still people. And this isn't a judgment, this is the truth. The people are still so deeply embedded in this world of fear. It is, I feel bad for them, because it's such a hard world to live in. When I know, when we transcend out, Pepe, when we transcend out of that and live in, and just and not ignore that world, but just remove ourselves from it and just observe it, it changes everything. And when it changes everything within each person, it changes everything within all of us. That's why the velocity has to go up. Our galactic friends are saying, okay, enough is enough. We gotta push the supersonic speed in this ascension, so that all of those people are still watching that propaganda. Like, it's what it is. And they're down here in these fear-based realities. They have got to be surprised. They've got to have little Pepe bark in the middle of the night to wake them up, be like, what was that? Like, when I come awake so fast when he barks in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden I'm aware of everything around me because I'm tuning in to everything around me. That's kind of what has to happen. So the self-destruction is happening. And we have got to let go of how all of this unfolds. I've had so many questions of people saying, what exactly is the flash? And again, or is like, how's it going to happen? And how? I don't know. And quite frankly, I don't think anybody really knows, because none of us have ever been through this. However, our higher self does know. So that is when our mind, we have to just be like, I'm letting go of having to know how this is going to go down, because it's already going down. In each moment, it's going down. And the more the velocity speeds up and the more people are shocked awake, and we just let them be in shock and have their own journey, and we continue having ours, that means their light goes up. Their light, as soon as that light comes on, automatically the collector goes whoop and comes up, right? And they might be in fear, but they might come up to at least scarcity, or they might come up to anger. I went to anger when I started, when my, like, all of these truths started coming out, and I started putting pieces together of how everything has been like completely um manipulated from what, our systems, how we are supposed to live as sovereign beings. There's anger, but you know what? It's better to have an angry collective than a fearful collective. So that is why this velocity is now being brought into our awareness. So you expect it. You're seeing it already. And that velocity, remember, for you is going to increase. So it's going to get more intense. And there's some of it's going to be hard intense, and there's going to be some that's like, oh my gosh, like and that's how I'm feeling. There's so many things that happen where I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude. And those words sound so cliche, but overwhelmed with like, oh my gosh, I finally feel like I made it. I made it through these worlds. I feel like I've transcended through. I mean, I lived in each of these individual worlds. I lived in shame for a long time. I lived with, guilt for my whole Ukraine stay, was feeling guilty about my kids. I've moved through that. And then I went to fear. Like I've lived, oh my God, I lived in fear. Anxiety was like my counterpart for a majority of my life. And I didn't even know it. Like I wasn't even aware. I just was like, man, this thing's hard. I didn't even know like what I was carrying around. But man, when I became aware and understood anxiety, that thing was like, it was like a big tumor of energy that I just carried around for so long. And over these last few years, just have just chunked it and chunked it and chunked it down to now I have no more anxiety. Like it doesn't exist anymore in me. And that, when I walk around and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, what is that feeling? Oh my God, it's peace. And the overwhelming the intensity of understanding that I will never ever return to this world again is like freedom I have never had before. And that is intense. It's weird. It has been so intense to just integrate into a world without anxiety. Even with all of the stuff going on in the world, I have no anxiety about it because I know what's happening. It's dismantling, and we are not going to be allowed to have and there we all, I don't know how to say this, we are not going to be allowed to suffer at the hands of those that are self-destructing. And that kind of sounds like an moron, because there are people that are suffering, and yet that's part of their soul contract to be where they are, to start to make choices from their place as to how they navigate the reality in which they live. This is their dark moment. They will either self-destruct, and maybe there will be loss of life, or they will make a different choices and start to answer the call to change in a direction that may not make sense to them, that may be unknown. We talked about that yesterday, and that's happening. We are having to make choices and go in a direction that is completely unknown, because we are going to a world that is completely unknown, into a reality that's completely unknown, that our minds can't even really comprehend. So lots and lots of stuff going on. But the biggest thing is to remember this velocity is amping up. Hold on one second. Come on. Okay. It was so cute. I have to share this little Pepe. We went to the butcher today and got these bones. We got bones for the dogs, and he didn't even know what to do with it. He just sat there, and like then he was afraid of it. Like he tried to bite it, and it would roll and kind of make noise on the tile on the balcony. And it was so cute. He was just like completely oblivious as to what to do with this like bone, like real bone, And then then we took it away because it was all like kind of gross. And so Bud started making stock with it for dog rice. And so stupid spoiled dogs. I love it. And at the same time, it's so ridiculous. And at the same time, I love it. But Priya was just gnawing on hers and gnawing on us. And he sat and just watched her for the longest time, and like understood, was like learning how to chew a bone, like a real bone. And she finally left it, and he went out there, and he's been out there for a while now chewing it. So he's done. Anyway, let's see what you guys have to say. One last thing, heart. My like lots of heart activations. My heart is like, I can feel it doing this even now. And I have that a lot when I do these daily tune-ins, because I think it's just uh, channeling through. But all day today, I kept being like, how to breathe through, and like just massage my heart, my heart chakra. I was like, come on, open up, expand easily, because I feel a lot of activity here. So there's definitely a lot of heart expansion going on. Okay, good morning. Let's see. I am a fourth generation native here in Colorado, super rooted in this space. Yeah, I can see that. I can feel that too. And it's not a bad place to be rooted. I mean, I'm telling you, Bud and I were between Colorado and Northern California. We, both were very much calling to us. Uh, Oddly enough, this is always like what this was not calling to us. It was just this deep seated dream that I've always had, that I never like really thought I'd get to. And then all of a sudden it was like Colorado or California. And then a week later it was like, what about Europe? And we were both like, whoa, okay, we'll take that one. Um, I have been saying that the sun changed for a while now. I'm also thinking that our perception of our sun has changed. We see it more clearly now and not just with our eyes. I like that. Yeah, Isabel, that rings true for me too. We're just seeing it differently. Everything we're seeing is different, you know? Like we can look at the same thing and see something very different. And I do believe like the sun has physically like it feels it not that that feels it looks as though it's physically changing in color. It's because it's more like that plasma white to me. Like even now, it's like it's white. It's not that yellow anymore. Um, but I also think there's something to what you said as well, Isabel, that we're seeing it with new eyes, right? Not just our physical eyes. We're seeing it with our own inner eyes. So yes. And Christine said, Isabel, yes, 100%. My dogs have been going out every couple of hours and have had really bad belly issues. Yeah, they have too. And we didn't give them any bones. Like this is the first weird thing. Like literally this morning, I was telling Bud, I was like, he was sleeping all heavy last night. I was up and down those damn steps, and I wasn't even mad. Like I was just like I was so grateful. Actually, I noticed I was like, man, back in the day, this would have pissed me off if I was the only one that's getting up with the dogs. But it was like I'm so grateful to be comfortable. I'm so grateful to have a life that I can like, not worry about having to go to some job that I hate and be tired all day and sit, like I get up and I do this work and if I'm tired, it's still easy for me to do. So to like spend time with these dogs and nurture them, and I was like massaging them at night. I was sitting up with them, like giving them little doggy massages and to calm them down and to keep them comfortable. And like, so he woke up this morning. I'm like, hey, nothing's changed in their diet. So all of this I know is the energetics of right now. There was nothing that really uh, it made sense as far as why the dogs were sick. They're just feeling it too. We have to help our animals. We have to help all of our, our children, of course, to maneuver through these because they are going through it as well. And it might be confusing. I would imagine this is confusing as hell for us. It must be confusing as hell for them. Tara says, I've been struggling so bad this week. Yesterday, Brenna and I were just sitting on the floor talking about how we aren't having fun right now. I'm not, yeah, I don't know. I can't speak for everyone, but it's funny that you said that, Tara, because I was talking to Bud the other night. We were sitting out, and I think this could, I can logically put it into, my boys aren't here, but I was telling him, I was like, I want to have like fun again. I want to be adventurous again. And I feel like there's a hole, that's won't allow me to do that. Like I don't want to have fun without my kids. Like we journeyed all the time, y'all. Like we were camping and hiking and it was miserable getting them out of the door to do all of that. But once we were out, like we had so much fun. We always had like tennis balls, throwing tennis balls on hikes back and forth and aerobic. Like we were a like we are a fun family. We're a fun family to be around. And there are moments when we're not fun, but for the most part, we're a really fun family. And like having two of us not here, like I asked Bud, I was like, Dunny, do you think we'll ever have like that full on out, like fun again? And the answer came so quickly, you all. And Tara, I'm gonna say this too. The answer is yes, we will. This is this transition, and I don't know how long this is going to last. Like, it's going to last as long as we allow ourselves to keep dipping down into that other world. Where did that thing go? Like if we can just hold that line, like that's the critical point, the critical mass point, the faster we can all just freaking hold that line and be in joy no matter what we've got going on, it will explode us. It will blast us into that reality. But it's taking so like it feels like it's taking longer because there are so many people we're trying to pull with us, including ourselves. So yes, we will have that fun again. And yes, we will all adventure and we will celebrate. I know it. And I don't know why I know it. I've completely disconnected from the how of all of this. I can't say that truthfully because there are days where I'm like, how is this going to go down? But for the most part, I know better than to sit there and do that too long. Because I know that we cannot even comprehend how this is going down. How it's going down now, I don't think any of us could have ever predicted it. And here we are, and we're watching it unfold every single moment in perfect time, in perfect reality. So if we can just hold that line of peace, I keep talking about it, and it's 100%, it's 110% of my being is saying that if we just hold that line. And for me, that how that works out practically is just have as much fun as you can. And Bud and I have a hell of a lot of fun. We sit on this couch and sit out here and we giggle and we laugh our asses off at the stupid shit that we end up talking about. That's why I want you all to come here, because if we immerse together, maybe we need to have something here and we can just come together, and and however many of us, we just sit here and we chitty chat about this stuff and we laugh about things. That's going to elevate. When I pull in people into my world that are like me, that we can sit and talk to, our worlds move while we're in it. And that is the beauty. And you know what? Tomorrow we're having our Ascension Bank circle, our gathering for members, and we are going to come together in community tomorrow, and we are going to do that. We're going to just watch ourselves move. I know every time we get off of those calls, all of us are feeling at a higher level than when we came on, because we share, because we support, because we hear other perspectives, and it opens up new wisdom and new light, and our worlds move just in that hour and a half, 2 hours that we're on those calls. That's happening tomorrow. That happens every week. So if you're not in our community, come in so our worlds can change together. We can all ascend together. That's our goal. It's our intention. That's mine every time I come onto one of those calls. So be on our call tomorrow, Tara. I know you will be. And plus, I want to hear your story. So if you're not, I'm gonna be down in the lower realms of here, Tara, if you're not there, because I want to hear the Virginia story. I want to hear from your own voice how your world changed because of that experience, how your perspective changed. So, we've got this, y'all. Like, I'm telling you, I know it so deeply. I just can't give like tangible evidence, but I try every day by giving you something tangible that I have experienced in my world, so that we can start to make connections with how this velocity of energy is coming together in physical reality, how it's changing physical reality, how it's changing our consciousness, so that we can understand what to look for, what to be aware of, what to tune into, so we see that things are actually changing, even though it may look like it's not. And we're like, why is this taking so long? It's really not. If you really, really tune in, you will see and feel the changes happening under your feet. I can feel it. I know it. I don't know if I'm feeling surrender or apathy, but I'm so over it right now. I'm struggling and wondering why on earth my higher self would choose this path. Mhm. It doesn't, I don't know if you like, what comes to me is it doesn't matter what it's called right now, if it is surrender or apathy, you're exactly where you need to be, Brenna. I know it's the most annoying thing. And like my lowest came in Ukraine. And at that point, now looking back, and I knew it at the time, I was like, oh God, I have to go this deep. I got to go deeper and into that surrender place was where we're literally at that. There was a brink where I like that surrender where I was and I remember it one night just being like, okay, just take me now. I can't go any lower. Just take me out of this world. If that's what is meant, I am at peace with that. And in that moment, things changed. Peace started to build and rise from that. But that surrender piece had, like, I had to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until I finally was like, I can't take any more. And at that point, your higher self knows if you're being truthful at that point, because remember that your higher self will not take you any further than you can handle. And I got deep enough where I was like, I can't handle anymore. I can't take anymore. And she was like, you're right. Now we rise up. And from that moment on, like literally a week after that was when we got the call. Like things started, the synchronicity started happening. We got a call from our, Andrew saying, "Hey, I got an opening. I can take you guys to out of Ukraine." And we were like, "Holy crap!" We felt like that was never going to happen. So, and then we got through the initiation phase, which I've talked about, the road trip from there to here, which has had all kinds of stuff. And then we got here and we kind of got settled. And then the peace just was like more, like the peace grew, like the peace is growing. So be in that, lady. Like I know, and I look forward to hearing you talk about it tomorrow too. And in our circle, there, all of us, Christine, Tara, as you know, like all of us are going to support you and bring our own energy to you. You're doing exactly where you need to be. I love the elevator though. Thought that's because I went riding that elevator last night. That's what was in the sky you posted the other day. Our ethereal elevator. That thing was so cool. I loved it. Like I like that you saw that, Christine, that it was also a portal, because that thing, like I was watching it kind of come down and I was like, oh my gosh. And at that point I didn't get, later on when I was looking at the pictures, I got the message that it has to come all the way down. Next time I see that, it has to come all the way down through the collective consciousness to pull that portal all the way down to like get everybody in the elevator. Then like in my mind, I attached that to the, like the flash, or whatever this thing is. So, and I don't, I want to be careful about talking too much about the flash, because I think it's a very misleading idea. I think it really misleads us into think like waiting for something to happen. We have to create the energy. We have to create the energy of the flash coming in, whatever the hell that means. It's not going to happen until we create it, because that's how creation starts. In consciousness, we create everything. So we have to create that portal coming all the way down to support our entire humanity, our entire planet, to ascend as one into that higher realm, is how I understand it. If any of you have a Gaia subscription, there's a series on there called Galactic Messages. It beautifully describes the layers of the 3D matrix overlay. Oh, very cool, Lisa. I used to have Gaia. I don't anymore, but I did see the ad for that show, and it was intriguing. So thank you for mentioning that. I am loving this message, feeling all of that. Oh, good. Thank you. Not thank you, like as in like, oh, I take credit for it. I'm kind of, it was a thank you of gratitude more so, because I was like, whew, literally 15 minutes before I got on here, I was like, I don't know what it is. Like I couldn't really quantify the energy of today into something until it started to download of like the velocity. And I was like, what do you guys want me to do? What are we sharing today? So I say thank you simply because the message came through exactly at the perfect time. Insider info is Russia is going to a gold-backed currency. They've already gone to that, back to that, as is the rest of many countries. There is much cleanup going on behind the scenes of this war. There is light at the end of the hallway. Yes, that like underneath this war is like really amazing stuff happening, like it's just that's why we know that, like we know that this massive cleanup is happening. We know that Russia isn't the enemy. Putin's a crazy motherfucker, but he's doing he's helping, like I know this is a controversial thing to talk about, but if you go really deep, you'll find the evidence. It's there. And he is like, I can't understand sometimes how the ones, the white hats are actually doing all of this crazy, beautiful work, and yet their personalities, their ego personalities are really hard to take. I don't understand that piece of it, but at the same time, I had like underneath this war, there is a massive cleanup coming, and that's why the self-destruction is happening, because it's kind of it's cleaning up underneath, is bringing new energy underneath the manipulative energy, the war energy. And when this gets cleaned up, this can't survive, and this is self-destructing faster than I think they were expecting it. I don't think whatever, it doesn't mean what I think. So yes, there's a lot of really the new systems are coming online. The new systems are being created that are going to support the 5D Earth, the new banking systems, the new governmental systems. It's not even going to be that, well, it is, but not. The new, like, I'm dying, not dying, but I am like waiting for the new, education system to reprise itself, because I want that for my kids while they're still there. I'm just like, so I it's painful for me to watch the school system at the moment. I went to I told you so. Some heard me. Hold on one second. I missed something. Yes, Lisa. Christine says, I went to I told you so. Some heard me, some didn't. Not sure what that's about. I may miss something. Carly, so interesting how anxiety was built into us. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm feeling the heart activations too. Yeah, pretty majorly. Like right now, I feel it a lot. And it's not I just feel like I have to keep taking deep breaths and anchoring it. That's really what is happening. There's like our energy centers are expanding, our heart centers are expanding. So there's a lot of energy that's happening. So when we breathe up with our holy breath and breathe down in that holy breath, then we then breathe it down into the planet, which then grounds more love and this more expansive energy into the planet, which then goes all through the planet to every human being and every being. So just keep grounding these heart activations down so that we can help others ground it as well. um, Activations in my head and eyes so strong today. Crawly skin again and heart expansion. Yeah, I had some major like tingling on my head, like the back of my head yesterday, like to the point where it literally felt like somebody was doing this, and I think there was. But it was very it was an experience. I don't know. It's just like I was just like it's so fun to tune into these things. It becomes such an experience, this whole ascension process, I feel like, for myself, when I'm just like, "Oh, what is that?" And then I stop and I just stop to experience it. Whether it feels shitty or it feels kind of good, I'm like, what is this?" And then like it really helps me to have this intimate experience with this journey, because it's not about us waiting to go to some flash or whatever it is. It's us like really tuning into the experience of this and understanding it. That's how our knowledge grows. That's how our wisdom grows. That's how our understanding of this process grows. So it's been like a beautiful experience. So even having the crawly skin, I'm kind of like, okay, tell me more about this. What is this? Help me understand this. And I love it. Oh, I see like old cameras each has a flash. Now they all start flashing at the same time. When all light workers get there, the circle will be complete. Yeah. Yeah, like it's beautiful how all of the different visions that we're getting, and the metaphors that come to us so that we can understand this. Like that's how I have, I think we are being called to build some beautiful, intimate relationships with our teams by tuning into each crawly moment, into each moment, and saying, what is this about? And seeing, like, and observing how the message comes. Does it come in a visual? Does it come in words? Does it come in color? Does it come in a flash? Like, that's how you will start to understand how you're being. If you're Many of you are not starting to understand, you get it, but that's how we build faith more and more into our relationship with our higher intelligence, with how we're being communicated with. Okay, I think that is good for today. I could talk about this stuff all day long, but we've got tomorrow, you guys, for the Ascension Bank members. I feel like it's been forever since we met. That weird week where we do Wednesday and then it's not till the next Saturday. It's like 10 days. So it's a long time. But anyway, Ascension Bank members, we will be online tomorrow. I'll send the link out. I'm super excited to catch up with all of you and see your lovely faces. And for anyone else, if you are coming to these daily tune-ins and you are getting a lot of value or even just a little bit of value from them, it's just helping you to make connections. Please understand that this is my job. This is what I do. So if you would like to make a donation, everything I do is donation based. I do this free. I'm here whether whether you're here or not. But if you would like to make a donation, the link is at the top in the pinned message at the top of the page. I would appreciate any donations that you are willing to give, because it helps me live and it helps me do nice things for the dogs and for my kids. And I appreciate being able to do all of that and more. And I look forward to having some of you come here. Come on, somebody come here for an immersion, and let's just like immerse ourselves in this for a whole week or 10 days, and we will eat really well, and we will play really well, we will laugh a lot, we'll probably cry, we'll release some stuff together, we will do a lot of work together, but it's not going to feel like work. It's going to feel like an immersion into you, and I get to experience you and help you in whatever ways and support you. I've got a place here that you can stay, and you just got to get here, and we'll figure it all out. But there's nothing like, there's no rhyme or reason to this. It's just come on and let's do this in person. I would love to support you. I don't know how long we're going to be here, but this is a place that I would love to host some people, whether it's in a group or whether it's individually. Come visit, and let's grow together, and let's rise up together in an immersion of some sort. Thank you all so much. Love to you. I will see you. Today's Friday. I'll see you Monday. So have an amazing weekend. Have an amazing weekend. And my I am presence is connecting with each of yours, and each of our I am presences is connecting and is one with every single human, every single animal, every single element out here there. Every being of consciousness has an I am presence. And I just send so much love, so much courage, so much willingness to each of those I am presences to come up with me, to come up and rise up into a higher consciousness and support this most historical rise in human consciousness than ever before. And we are so blessed to be able to be a part of it, and especially being blessed to be a part of those who support it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah. Love to you all.